You know, everybody's freaking out about Felicity Huffman going to jail for 2 weeks. That's not the real bribery scandal. I mean, you know, it's a terrible thing that parents are bribing to get their kids into school. That shouldn't even be a thing. But the real bribery scandal is much larger. Check it out, and don't forget to ding the bell, subscribe to our channel, leave your comments, and share our show with your friends. The real bribery scandal, this is huge. You know, everybody's hysterical about Felicity Huffman. Oh my God, she spent $15,000. Parents, another actress, I think Lori Loughlin or whoever, I'm pretty sure, you know, spent over $100,000, but, you know, basically bribing her daughter's way into college. And, oh, isn't this terrible? And it's, you know, on the front page of the Washington Post and all this kind of stuff. But I don't think that's the real bribery scandal in America. I mean, you know, yeah, it's a stupid thing, and there should be a consequence. You know, and I guess making it a national story is a way of trying to discourage other people from doing this kind of thing. But the real bribery scandal, well, let me provide a context for it. If you ask Americans, do you think that the federal government should be able to negotiate prescription drug prices? Right now, Medicare, which is the single largest purchaser of prescription drugs in the United States, right now, Medicare has to pay full retail one-pill price on everything. Medicare may buy 1 million tablets of an antibiotic, or 5 million tablets of an antidepressant, or fill in the blank, right? They may be, and in fact they are, no doubt about it. They're buying millions and millions, but they have to pay the price that you would pay if you walked into a pharmacy and said, I want to buy one pill at the full retail price. And this is a $600 billion a decade subsidy, $60 billion a year subsidy to the pharmaceutical industry. You ask Americans, should the federal government be able to negotiate prescription drug prices the way that the VA does, or the way that health insurance companies do? 79% of Americans say yes. So why can't the government negotiate prescription drug prices? Because of the real bribery scandal. Because these big drug companies are giving money to politicians. In fact, this is a remarkable study here. Big Pharma bribed Congress to the tune of $2.5 billion over the last decade, giving money to 9 out of 10 members of the House and 97 out of 100 members of the Senate. You have tens of thousands of Americans literally dying every year because of this bribery. But is that on the front page of the Washington Post? Nope, it's Felicity Huffman. 71% of Americans, including 56% of Republicans, say that all Americans should have access to a debt-free college education. But the banks spent millions bribing the Republican Party, Chuck Grassley's 2005 Bankruptcy Reform Act, which made it a crime for somebody with student debt to try to discharge that with bankruptcy. You cannot declare bankruptcy on your student loan debt. It used to be the only thing you couldn't declare bankruptcy on was taxes. Now it's taxes and student loan debt. This was the banks lobbying for this. 71% of Americans think you should be able to declare bankruptcy. In fact, they go beyond that. 71% of Americans think college should be debt-free. And yet, as the Wall Street Journal notes, quote, colleges and universities have become one of the most effective lobbying forces in Washington, employing more lobbyists last year than any other industries except drug manufacturing and technology. That's a real bribery scandal. 71% of Americans think that everybody in the United States should have the choice of being on Medicare. 71%. This isn't Medicare for all. This is just Medicare as an option, the public option. 71% of Americans, 63% of Republicans agree with this. And yet the health insurance industry spent $158 million last year bribing members of Congress to maintain their billions in profits. Green New Deal, 71% of Americans support that, including 55% of Republicans. Expand Social Security benefits, as Elizabeth Warren proposed last week, 70% support, 62% of Republican voters. Getting corporate executives out of revolving door government positions, 59% of Americans, 55% of the GOP. Guaranteeing net neutrality, 61% support among Americans, 62% of Republicans. Breaking up big banks, 71% of Democrats, 51% of Republicans. Restoring the top 50% income tax rate that Reagan nuked, 71% Democratic support, 53% Republican support. Bringing back FDR's government as the employer of last resort job programs to rebuild America, 83% Democratic support, 60% Republican support. Every single one of these issues going down in flames. Why? Because the Supreme Court said it's okay to bribe Congress. That's the real bribery scheme. We'll be back. It's 28 minutes past there. How have these bribery scandals affected you?